Capacity constraints under Bertrand. It's a very interesting topic. See, we have seen that the Bertrand model is going to generate a Bertrand paradox. Yes. When do you think the Bertrand model will be generating a Bertrand paradox? When, supposedly, if I'm firm 1 and you are firm 2, and I have undercut you, I have reduced the price. Starting from the equal price, I've reduced the price and I have got the entire market. But beta, I should also have the capacity to serve the entire market. Generally, none of the firms have the capacity to serve the entire market, right? So there was an assumption, implicit assumption in the Bertrand model, which was generating Bertrand paradox, that the firms have the unlimited capacities. They can serve the entire market. That is not realistically possible, right? So please write this for Bertrand model. To generate Bertrand paradox, firms must have unlimited capacities. Firms must have unlimited capacity. So you start from an equal price. And if you decrease the price a little bit, the entire market is going to flow towards you. But you should also have the unlimited capacity to serve the entire market, right? So because the firms do not have any capacity constraint, it gives a lot of incentive for the firms to undercut. So in case if the firms know that they have a capacity which they can serve, so they will also have a little incentive to undercut. You get the point? So the firm can satisfy the increased demand due to undercutting because it has no capacity constraints. Because it has no capacity constraints, right? So it gives the firms a lot of incentive to undercut. A big incentive to undercut, right? So if supposedly if I'm firm 1 and you are firm 2 and I have undercut you, but I have a capacity constraint. I mean, I have a capacity which I can fulfill. I mean, beyond that, I cannot fulfill the demand. So even though I have lowered the price, I can sell only whatever my capacity is going to allow. So it will leave the residual demand for you now. That's an idea, right? So because of this, because of these capacity constraints, I will have a less incentive to decrease the price, right? if undercutting firm could not satisfy all demand at its lower price, because of the capacity constraint, this is going to leave some residual demand for the other firms. For higher priced firms. And would decrease the incentive to undercut, right? Realistically speaking, no firms have the unlimited capacities. Every firm has the limited capacity, right? So you can consider like a two-stage game. So in the first stage, the firms are going to build up their capacities. And in the second stage, firms can't sell more than what they have set as capacity in the second stage, right? In the second stage, they're also choosing the prices, P1 and P2, but they cannot sell more than what they have set as capacities in the first stage, right? So consider a two-stage game in which firms build capacity in the first stage and they chose the prices P1 and P2, but they cannot sell more than what they have set as capacity in the first stage. And the firms chose P1 and P2 in the second stage, right? And in the second stage, they cannot sell more than what they have set as the capacity in the first stage. They can't sell more than the capacity build up in the first stage. build up in the first stage. So we will solve the game using backward induction. So it's a staged game. So we'll be solving this using backward induction. So suppose the firms, they have already built up their capacities in the first stage as Q1 bar and Q2 bar. So we are using backward induction, right? So we are going to solve the second stage first, assuming that in the first stage, firms have already set up their capacities as Q1 bar and Q2 bar, right? Okay. So, and suppose P bar is the price that is going to prevail in case if the firms are going to produce at their capacity. P bar be the price that the firm that would prevail. P bar be the price that would prevail when production is at capacity for both firms, right? So there are two cases. So supposedly both firms are charging the same price, but they are charging less than the this guy capacity price, right? So can this be a Nash equilibrium? So if they're going to charge less than the price which they would be charging in case if they are selling, if they are producing or if they are selling at their capacity. So this price is lower than the capacity price, right? Don't you think demand is going to be higher? Then what capacities could actually support, right? So let's say capacity price is 7 and both of them are charging 5. So people are going to demand more than what the capacity is. So this cannot be a Nash equilibrium. So both the firms, they can increase the price a little bit, right? And they can continue to sell at Q1 bar. So if both of them are selling at 5 and this guy is it's 7, let's say, so they can increase the price till 7. So they can increase, they can still continue to sell Q1 bar only, and they can increase their profit. Let me just give you this. Both of them are selling at 5.5. Let's say their capacities are 25, right? So if they're selling at the lower price than what the capacity price is, then naturally the demand is going to be more. Let's say the demand is going to be 35, let's say. But they can't sell more than 25. So even if the price is lower, they can sell only at, they can only sell their capacity. So isn't it better for them to increase the price, let's say to 7, and they will be selling the same quantity? So don't you think their profits are going to be more because they're selling at the higher price? So can this be a Nash equilibrium? No, it can't be. P1, P2 less than P bar. Can this be a Nash equilibrium? No, this can't be a Nash equilibrium. This can't be a Nash equilibrium. At this price, total quantity demanded exceeds the total capacity, right? So firm 1 can increase its profit by increasing the price slightly and continuing to sell Q1 bar. And continuing to sell Q1 bar. So this cannot be a Nash equilibrium. Can this be a Nash equilibrium? Can this be a Nash equilibrium? This also cannot be a Nash equilibrium. This also cannot be a Nash equilibrium because the total sales are going to fall short of the capacity. So if the capacity price is, let's say 7 and they are charging 9, so people are going to demand less than what the capacity is, right? So isn't it better for them to reduce the price? So one of the firm can reduce the price and can sell its capacity. So that's going to increase their profits, right? So this cannot be a Nash equilibrium. Because total sales fall short of capacity. At least one firm, say firm 1, is selling less than its capacity. Right. So when one of the firm has decreased the price, then it can sell at least its capacity. So it can increase its profit, right? So see, the entire point of finding out the Nash equilibrium is that can you actually find out a profitable deviation? So if you can find out the profitable deviation, that is not a Nash equilibrium. So by cutting the price slightly, by cutting the price slightly, firm 1 can increase its profit by selling up to its capacity Q1. Right. So what is the Nash equilibrium then? Hence the Nash equilibrium is of the second stage of the game is for the firms to choose the price at which the quantity demanded is exactly equal to the quantity supplied by the capacity, right? So hence the Nash equilibrium. Of this second stage game is for the firms to choose the price at which quantity demanded exactly equals the total capacity built. In the first stage. Right. P1 equals to P2 equals to P bar. That is what this thing. That is what is going to be the Nash equilibrium of this game. Right. So thank you, Beta.